Now, Bismillah Rahman Rahim, dear students, we are going to talk about Myanmar. Myanmar in Southeast Asia, its geostrategic location, its geostrategic importance, geographical location, importance for China, economic and strategic, importance for China, and how these two countries are going about. Um, in the previous lectures, we discussed about Indonesia, Malaysia, and many other countries. But today's country, Myanmar, is also significant. They are not that you can say a big economic power in Southeast Asia as compared to Indonesia, Malaysia, or any other country like Singapore. But still, they are significant. They have got huge land mass, almost equal to the Pakistan. But their economy is not that vibrant if we analyze it in a holistic way. But they have got why they could not improve. There were political uncertainties in Myanmar. Because of that, they could not improve as it should have been. Secondly, it is also sandwiched between China and India and their proxy wars. So that was another factor which impeded their economic revitalization. But Myanmar has chosen and chosen wisely to be aligned with China, and they are now in good relationship with China. Their economic relationships are also good. Their strategic relationship is also good. So if we analyze the strategic location of geographical position of Myanmar in Southeast Asia, you would understand that this country is located in a very, very, very significant area where on the mouth of Bay of Bengal, Indian Ocean. They have got huge landmass, they have got huge maritime boundary, which give access to this country to other parts of the world. And it makes it easier for them to get connected with other economies in the world, number one. Number two, they are also, you can say, the Chinese are also depending on them, just like the way Chinese were dependent on Pakistan for their Xinjiang province. They wanted to develop that western province of China, Kashgar region, and they wanted to connect it with Balochistan, the Gwadar port, and to the world, and to cut short their time. So same situation is there in Myanmar also. There are many Chinese, provinces like Yunnan province and Kunming. They wanted to, connect their landlocked Yunnan province, which are there in the central China. I'll discuss I'll show you in the coming slides. So China want to connect those particular provinces with the Bay of Bengal, with the Chinese, with the Myanmar's ports, and this is the easier and the shortest route they have got to connect their central provinces like Yunnan. So that is the location of Myanmar, which is very important. Myanmar holds a very, very central position when it comes to Bay of Bengal and Southeast Asia. As you can see here in this slide, they share a very significant border with Bangladesh, which is a South Asian country. Then they have got a huge border with India, which is a kind of hostile country. India has been very aggressive, and they have been, creating problems for them. Um, there is actually the Indian this side of the border. The people in Naxal and the Maoist, rebels, they are now creating problems for the Indians in their, eastern side. And whenever India wanted to, and they enjoy safe havens in Myanmar. So in 2015 or 16, probably, um, uh, 18 Indian soldiers were killed by these rebels, Naxal rebels, or you can say Maoist rebels, and they moved to Myanmar's safe havens, which were close to the border with India. So India then carried out a surgical strike there, and they sent their special forces there, and they conducted that surgical strike, and they killed many, insurgents. So that is something which is there. They can do it against a country like Myanmar, which is a weak country, which is not that powerful country as compared with Pakistan. They took this step against Pakistan in 2019, and they faced the serious backlash, serious response from Pakistan. So, but the Indians, they have been, aggressive against Myanmar, and they carried out this. They violated the international code of conduct, and they carried out aggression against a sovereign country. They should have informed that country, and collectively they could have, carried out that. But India, they have got their own bravado, and they have got on their thinking. So that is the location of Myanmar. They also share a huge border with China also, which is also a very significant powerful country in the world, veto power, economic might. They have the second largest economy in the world, and they are also a very, very important country. And then they share border with Laos and Thailand. They are, South Asian countries, and they are also, connecting themselves with the Myanmar through trade and investment, through economic connectivity. So that is, a very, very, you can say, relaxed border for the Myanmar. So Myanmar is facing major challenge from the Indian side. Just because of their connectivity with China, they have got, cultivated enmity with India. So that is something there. So this is how Myanmar is located in Southeast Asia. As I told you before, it shares border with China, Thailand, India, Laos, and Bangladesh. It is surrounded by two nuclear weapon states, and both nuclear weapon states are very powerful. India, another a country with more than 150 or 160 nuclear warhead, a population of about 1.27 billion. And China, on the other side, with 300 or 400 nuclear warheads and a population of about 1.41 billion. So both markets are big markets. And if Myanmar want to benefit from these two countries, they can. So they are trying to benefit from the Chinese side, and they are improving day by day. Okay, so the maritime significance of Myanmar cannot be ignored in this region. They share almost 2,000 kilometers of coastline, which is a big coastline, much almost double than Pakistan, along the Bay of Bengal and Andaman Sea. So this basically give them access to the Indian Ocean region, and through Indian Ocean region, you can see, most of the world trade, merchant ships or cargo ships, super tankers trade, it passed through the Indian Ocean region every year, which costs, which is equal to the $1 trillion, you can say, trade in at, annual trade in holistic terms. They got a small population. It's a big country, but they have got a small population. It is also almost equal to the size of slightly bigger than Afghanistan, which is again 653,000 square kilometer, and the Myanmar is 676 you can say square kilometer. So their population is not high. It's a small population, and it is also divided in different ethnic groups. Muslims are also there, and recently you have seen that in this area, isko Burma bhi kehte hain, Myanmar ko. Muslims have faced subjugation, or you can say intimidation, by the cult regime there, by the Buddhist regime there, and they have been using violence against the Muslims there. Unfortunately, no Muslim world has taken any step against them. So in this slide, you can see the bigger picture of Myanmar, Burma, and you can understand that how and where they are located, and this is very, very important position. And through their, sometimes your position, your geography is bane, and sometimes it is boon. Sometimes you get benefit, and sometimes you are you face backlash. So they are getting both. They are getting benefit from China, and they are getting backlash from India. They're getting hammered by the Indians. So that's how they are located and their position. All right, let's move forward. So their location is such that they sit atop on the western entrance to the vital Strait of Malacca. So the Strait of Malacca region, which is also again a very important choke point in Southeast Asia, and the world economies are dependent on that region. It is close to, Singapore, and in between, Malaysia and Indonesia. So it is also looking towards the Bengal, Bay of Bengal, and Andaman Sea. Now, Andaman Nicobar Island, there are two islands which are, under the command of India, and India hold a position there. And China is also there. China is there just close to the Andaman Nicobar Island. China is there on the Coco Island. As you can see in this slide, the Chinese are there on the Coco Island, and they are, giving India a tough time there, which is, not, you can say, um, absorbable for the Indians. Both countries, China and Myanmar, they have got convergence of interest. They share a border. They share mutual interest, economic, interest. Both have got dependency on each other. Chinese provinces like Yunnan and Sichuan, China want to connect these provinces because they are landlocked to the Indian Ocean region, to give them, maritime access so they can develop. As you can see, so landlocked region, and you can say the maritime, region, they have got different, outlook, and they have got different options. So that is something which is there, and Myanmar has attracted more than $8 billion of investment in early 2010, and then now many other countries like the Thailand and Laos and China, America, they have also, invested in this region, because America also want to play their role in these countries. But their, largest, you can say, a convergence of interest is with the Chinese. For energy and mining projects from the Chinese company, they are also involved in this region, and they have invested almost $8 billion. The projects also, the Chinese also help the Myanmar with a lot of funding and all these type of things. Please understand one thing, that China is a soft power. You can say it create opportunities for themselves through economic aid and investment in other countries, and this is how they do. This is their modus operandi. They have spent almost more than $60 billion in Central Asia just to, connect China with the Caspian region. They have invested almost $64 billion in Pakistan just to connect the Kashgar region with Gwadar port. And they are spending a lot of money in, also they are eyeing a lot of money in Afghanistan also, just to extract their oil and gas resources and copper and other gold and other, mines. So China is everywhere. China is also involved in Africa. So Chinese have, invested in this region also. They have provided about $5 billion of aid to the Myanmar government just to develop their hydroelectric dams, which is definitely going to help the Myanmar economy. And then, it also creates the economic dependency on Myanmar, on China. So that is something which is there. Oil and gas pipelines from Rakhine state to Yunnan. Rakhine state is, it's their port city, and from there it is connecting, the Myanmar with Chinese Yunnan provinces. And Chinese have spent almost $2.15 billion, and a copper mine in Monywa for $997 million. So this is something which is major investment by China just to connect themselves, connect themselves with the Myanmar. This is the dam which they have invested, and it is almost in the completion phase. Myanmar in 2018 and 19, almost they have attracted lots of investment, about $5.7 billion, and Singapore topped the list of the foreign investors because they are from in this region, and their investment was huge, and followed by the US and China and many other countries. So this is significant for Myanmar's economy, because other countries are now looking towards Myanmar. At this slide, you can see The oil and gas pipelines, which originate from the Shaw gas oil field, which is there in the mouth of Bay of Bengal, and from there these pipelines, oil and gas pipelines, connect China, the central China, or you can see the Yunnan province, and that's how the Chinese are, connecting themselves with the Bay of Bengal or opening themselves to the Indian Ocean region through this part of the world. These oil and gas pipelines are very significant for the Chinese economy. They are very significant for the Myanmar's economy. Myanmar cannot afford to develop these resources. So both have got convergence of interest. In this way, China would get access to the Indian Ocean region, and China would secure their maritime interest in this region and to counter, India, US, and UK. So primarily, if we, in a nutshell, the Chinese, they have got three major interests in Myanmar. One is energy procurement. Second is security, access to the Indian Ocean region, Bay of Bengal, and to protect their interest in this region, Indian Ocean region, from where the trillions of dollars of trade or the Chinese trade pass through this region. Most of the, as I told you before, that the 80% of the Chinese oil, which comes from the Persian Gulf, it comes from the Persian Gulf, and it passed through the Indian Ocean region, Arabian Sea and Indian Ocean region. So it is very important for the Chinese. They have to be there in this region through their military bases, through their strategic location, their own bases in this region. So they got many bases, which India criticized, and India called them strings of pearls. And of course, they also want security of border trade, because they believe that the bilateral trade in this region must be protected, and the smugglers, or you can say illicit trade, it must be barred. So these issues are there, but primarily these two issues, which I told you before in the first and second, in sequence, they are most important issues for the Chinese. Number one, energy procurement. I told you before that the Chinese are, they are growing economy. They are going to be number one economy by 2030. They are a big country with huge, landmass, with huge population of about 1.41 billion, which is likely to increase in future. So with all these resources, with all these, burden of billions of people, China want economic revitalization. China want economic strength, and through that, they need more and more resources to support their economic growth. So they need energy, they need oil, gas, everything. This is the reason that they are now cutting short their, you can say, the surplus amount which they are spending on the procurement of these energy products, because they are, importing oil from the Persian Gulf, which takes about 13,000 kilometers to reach the Chinese cities, which is costly for China. So that's why China is, spending a lot of money to develop CPEC, and in this way they are going to save annually $2 billion, and the $64 billion they are going to recover in few years. Number one. Number two, they want to connect their Yunnan province, landlocked Yunnan province, through Myanmar to Bay of Bengal, and they are again going to cut short their long distance which they used to get from other areas. So that's how they are going to get the energy procurement from this particular region. And of course, security. They have got they are challenging the Indian prowess in the Indian Ocean region. India believes that the Indian Ocean region is Indian lake. Indian lake, यानी कि वो अपना उसको claim करते हैं. They believe that Indian Ocean is not Indian Ocean. This is Indian lake. It belongs to us, the Indians. But the Chinese contend that, and Chinese and Pakistanis, they challenge this approach. They say no. You are not the, you can say, the hegemonic power, only hegemonic power there. China is also there to challenge them, and Pakistan is also there to challenge them. This is the reason that Pakistan is coming up with different technologies, different capabilities. Indians are, the Chinese are also operating in this region, carrying out joint patrolling with Pakistan. Their nuclear submarines, it has been, roaming around in Indian Ocean region, and their frigates and their warship, they have been carrying out joint patrolling in this region just to protect not only maritime choke points and maritime trade, but at the same time they also ensure to the Indians that we are also there in this region, and they are challenging the Indian hegemony in this region. So if you analyze the military procurements and military capabilities of both nations, you will understand that how they are countering each other. China, they have got more than 60 nuclear submarines, and they have the capability to operate in these regions beyond their own seashores. So they are operating in this region. Number one. Number two, India is developing like capabilities like aircraft carriers, and they are developing warships and nuclear submarines. They are aiming for 6 nuclear submarines in by 2030. They are coming up with frigates and warships and corvettes. So they are coming up with all sorts of aggressive capabilities just to maintain dominance in this region. So Pakistan, how Pakistan is countering them? Pakistan is countering them through SLBMs. SLBMs का मतलब है submarine launched ballistic missiles, which Pakistan recently developed in last few years, and they installed nuclear missile on their conventional submarine. That is one step which Pakistan took to counter the Indian hegemony in this region. Secondly, Pakistan is also improving its maritime domain awareness. Pakistan is improving its surveillance and reconnaissance capabilities. It is adding more and more warships and frigates with the help of the Chinese. They are collectively both countries are developing these capabilities. So basically, what's happening that both both Pakistan and China, they have joined their forces, and now they are challenging the Indian hegemony in this region. So these are three interests which are there for that India and China, they are competing in this region. As I told you before, the Chinese has pursued the transportation of crude oil and natural gas via pipeline and building of hydraulic power plants in the border area just to improve their accessibility, improve their bilateral relationship with Myanmar. And as I told you before, they are connecting the landlocked Yunnan province so they can get access to the Indian Ocean region. Myanmar, it is Yunnan's biggest trading partner because it shares proximity, and they are dependent on each other. And China-Myanmar trade is also Myanmar's logistical artery. It is very important for Myanmar because it is providing them a regular, you can say, funds, and economic growth is taking place because China is a developed country, and they are helping the Myanmar. The imports from Myanmar were about $6 billion during 2018, which is a big amount. And China's imports from Myanmar were also 75% on year in 2011 and beyond. So this is how their connectivity is taking place. Both countries are closely aligned. Another important step which the Chinese have taken is to build a railway link to connect the Southwest China with Indian Ocean. Southwest China, वही यूनान जो province मैंने आपको बताया. So they are taking these steps just to now these steps are also called as New Silk Route, which the Chinese are developing. This railway link is going to connect not only Myanmar, but they are also connecting themselves, their Yunnan province and other provinces, with other countries like Bangladesh, like Burma, the Laos and other countries in the region. So that is something which is very, very important. For Myanmar, this railway link is going to be 1,215 kilometers. It is a huge railway link which is going to connect the Yunnan province with the port of Myanmar, and through there they can start, maritime, you can say, their trade and investment. And railway link is also very good for the land trade. So the deep sea port in Myanmar, the western province of China, that is also going to connect them with that. This is how this railway link and pipelines and other things are going to take place, and they are going to be very important for the Chinese and also for the Myanmar. This is Yunnan in the center, and as you can see, they are connecting themselves with Myanmar. They are connecting themselves with Laos and Vietnam through their different railway links. China also got Trans-Siberian Railway, which is connecting themselves China with through Central Asia, Kazakhstan, Russia, Eastern Europe, or London tak phir wo ja raha hai, through different connectivities. So this is something which is only Chinese can do it. They have connected the whole world with them, and slowly and gradually their projects like OBOR, which is $1 trillion project, it is going to connect the whole world with China. So through maritime trade routes, through air routes, and through land routes. So this is something which is very important. This is something which is very important for China, and China is showing that they are superpower, economic superpower in the world. If we look at the main export partners of Myanmar, so you can see they have got about $9 billion of exports, which they export to other countries like the Thailand. They are the largest recipient of the Myanmar products. China is there. India, of course, despite the fact they have got not good relationship, but the trade and investment continues. Like, for example, let me give you an example of India and China. They have got serious issues between them, but their trade is more than $80 billion now, close to $100 billion. So this is how it works. So there is no permanent, you can say, enmity. Your economic relationship also parallelly, moves on. China, Vietnam, Taiwan, see, they have also got serious issues, but they have also got a huge trade. Then you got Japan, you got Singapore, Hong Kong. So these are some of the countries with them. They have got good export relationships, and they send their products to these countries.